You know, one of the quietest but most dangerous habits we carry as human beings is the habit of comparing ourselves to others. It's so subtle that most of the time, we don't even realize we're doing it. We scroll through our feeds, we glance at someone else's life, and without thinking, we measure our own. We measure our worth, our achievements, our happiness, and somehow, more often than not, we come up short. And in those moments, peace slips away. Carl Jung, the brilliant mind who dedicated his life to understanding the human soul, taught us that the most important journey we will ever take is the journey toward our own wholeness. He called this process individuation, the unfolding of the self, the coming home to who we truly are. And comparison? Comparison is the thief of that journey. Every time we measure ourselves against someone else, we step off the path meant for us, and we begin walking someone else's road. Think about it. How often do you catch yourself doing it? Maybe it's at a gathering, and you notice someone else's life seems brighter, more polished, more accomplished. Or maybe it's in the quiet of your own home, scrolling through social media, seeing friends reaching milestones that feel unreachable. It could be wealth, beauty, recognition, relationships. Comparison always finds a way in. And every time it does, it steals something vital from you, a piece of your peace, a fragment of your joy, a bit of your energy, your very life force. Let me give you an example. Imagine a young woman who loves to write. She pours her heart onto the page, night after night, words flowing from a place only she can reach. Her writing is raw, intimate, real. And yet, every time she looks at other writers online, she notices their followers, their accolades, their success. And quietly, she whispers to herself, "I'm not enough. My words aren't good enough. I'll never reach that level." Slowly, day by day, she begins to doubt herself. Eventually, she stops writing. She silences her own voice. And in silencing her voice, she silences herself. That is the power of comparison. It doesn't just make us unhappy, it can steal our very gifts. It can rob the world of the beauty that only we can create. Carl Jung would tell us that when we compare, what we are really doing is projecting. What we see in someone else, their confidence, their success, their achievements, is a reflection of what we have denied in ourselves. That person is not the enemy, the mirror is. And here's the paradox: the very qualities that trigger our envy, our insecurity, our doubt, are often the same qualities that lie dormant within us, waiting to be claimed. Instead of shrinking in comparison, what if we allowed it to illuminate what we might cultivate in ourselves? But let's be honest, living without comparison is not easy. The world is built on measurements. We are constantly bombarded with images and stories that tell us how we should look, what we should have, who we should be. And it's easy to forget that these measures are arbitrary. Easy to forget that no one's life is exactly what it seems. Social media shows the highlight reel. It doesn't show the struggle, the fear, the sleepless nights, the mistakes, the heartbreaks. And when we measure ourselves against the highlight reel, we're measuring against an illusion. Take the story of a man named David. He runs a small business, pouring his heart into it. Every morning, he wakes early, works tirelessly, and tries to grow something meaningful. But every day, he checks the work of other entrepreneurs online. He notices their social media presence, their awards, their recognition, and quietly tells himself, "I'm behind. I'm not enough. I'll never be successful like them." Slowly, his sense of accomplishment fades. The voice inside him, the one that celebrates progress, gets drowned out by the voice of comparison. Yet the truth is, David's path is unique. His timing is unique. His story is his alone. Comparison robs him of the ability to see that. Jung teaches us that our power lies in understanding ourselves, embracing our individuality, and nurturing our own journey. The world will always offer someone else's story as a mirror, but it's a mirror only to show possibility, not a measurement of worth. Peace, fulfillment, happiness, they don't come from surpassing someone else, they come from aligning with your own values, your own passions, your own path. When you stop measuring your life against the lives of others, a remarkable thing happens: freedom. You begin to see your own gifts, your own growth, your own progress. And only then can you walk through the world with confidence, grace, and presence. The cost of comparison is more than unhappiness. It keeps us in perpetual restlessness. The human mind has an extraordinary capacity for dissatisfaction. If your worth depends on others, there will always be someone richer, someone prettier, someone smarter, someone more admired. There will always be someone ahead. Comparison is a treadmill, endlessly moving, exhausting you, giving nothing in return. Peace comes not from winning against others, but from winning with yourself. So, how do we break free? First, awareness. Start noticing when you are comparing. Catch yourself in the act. The moment you realize it's happening, pause. Remind yourself, their story is theirs. My story is mine. Then, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a shield against comparison. When you focus on what is present, your accomplishments, your relationships, your growth, you realize there is no need to compete. Finally, embrace trust. Trust in your timing, trust in your path, trust in the fact that your gifts are unique. Your life is enough. Your story is enough. Imagine a life where comparison no longer steals your joy. Imagine waking each day with a sense of peace that is yours and yours alone. When you stop chasing someone else's approval, when you stop measuring your worth against someone else's milestones, you reclaim your power. And in that reclamation, you find freedom. You find peace. You find yourself. Let me leave you with this thought: the next time you catch yourself comparing, pause and ask, what am I missing about myself in this moment? What is this showing me about the life I want to create? Shift your focus from envy to curiosity, from judgment to self-discovery. Allow the mirror of others' lives to illuminate what is possible within you, not diminish your worth. Comparison is not destiny. It is a habit. And habits can be changed. You have the choice to honor your life, your gifts, your journey. To step fully into your path, fully into yourself. Because, as Carl Jung reminds us, the greatest privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And when you embrace that truth, when you let go of measuring yourself against anyone else, you step into a freedom that no external validation can ever give. Your life is enough. Your story is enough. Your gifts are enough. And that, my friends, is where real peace begins. You know, one of the most profound truths Carl Jung ever shared with us is this: until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Let that sink in for a moment. Every thought you bury, every emotion you ignore, every feeling you suppress, none of it simply disappears. It doesn't quietly fade into nothingness. No, it lingers, it festers, it waits. And when you least expect it, it emerges, often in ways you cannot control, often in ways that shake your life. Suppressing your true feelings is one of the greatest thieves of inner peace, because peace doesn't come from pretending, It doesn't come from wearing a mask. Real peace, the kind that fills your soul, comes from wholeness, from embracing every part of yourself, even the parts you've been taught are too messy, too complicated, or too vulnerable. From the moment we are born, the world teaches us to suppress. Crying is inconvenient, anger is dangerous, fear is weakness, sadness is something to hide. And so we learn to wear masks, the mask of composure, the mask of happiness, the mask of strength. And when we wear them long enough, we forget they're masks at all. We start to believe they are us. And yet, behind the mask, our feelings are waiting. Waiting to be acknowledged. Waiting to be heard. Waiting to guide us toward truth. Think about someone you know, or perhaps even yourself. Someone who works tirelessly, smiles at work, nods politely at colleagues, always appears fine on the surface. But inside, their heart aches. They are frustrated, exhausted, longing for meaning. They are angry at circumstances they cannot change, sad for the dreams they have abandoned, fearful of being judged if they dare speak up. And because they've been taught that these feelings are inconvenient, dangerous, or weak, they push them down. Day by day, year by year, the feelings don't disappear. They harden, they accumulate, they become heavier and heavier. And the cost of carrying that weight silently is profound. Sleepless nights, tension in the body, irritability, emptiness. That is the true cost of suppression. Carl Jung called this hidden part of ourselves the shadow. The shadow is not evil. It is not a monster hiding in the dark. It is simply the unlived, the unexpressed, the unacknowledged. And the more we suppress, the more the shadow grows. It waits, quietly, patiently, until one day it demands our attention. And when it does, it can erupt in anger, in anxiety, in depression, in self-sabotage. Often, we are shocked when it happens, because we've been ignoring it for so long. But the truth is, the shadow is not a surprise, it's a message. A message that we have been neglecting a part of ourselves, denying our own humanity, refusing to embrace our full, messy, beautiful selves. Have you ever witnessed someone overreacting to something small, a traffic delay, a careless remark, a minor setback? It seems irrational, doesn't it? But it's not about that moment. It's about years of suppressed feelings finally finding a way to surface. Anger, frustration, disappointment, fear, all building quietly, waiting for acknowledgement. Suppression feels safe in the short term, but over time, it is corrosive. It slowly corrodes joy, peace, and clarity. Now, some of you might be thinking, but isn't it better to control myself? To keep it together? To not let my feelings get the best of me? And yes, of course. There is a difference between awareness and indulgence. Between acknowledgement and being controlled by emotion. The goal is not to act impulsively or harmfully. The goal is to honor the presence of your emotions, to understand them, to let them teach you something essential about yourself. Let me tell you about a man named Daniel. He was taught from a young age that men shouldn't cry, that vulnerability was weakness, that emotions were dangerous. Whenever sadness or grief emerged, he stuffed it down, distracted himself with work, alcohol, or constant busyness. Outwardly, he looked strong, composed, in control. But inwardly, he was breaking. The sadness he suppressed hardened into cynicism. He couldn't connect with others because he hadn't connected with himself. He couldn't experience joy fully because he had locked away his grief. That is the real danger of ignoring our feelings. Suppression builds walls that block both pain and joy. So what does it mean to integrate our emotions? How do we embrace the shadow without letting it control us? The first step is radical honesty. You must be willing to tell yourself, I am angry. I am hurt. I am afraid. I am longing. Naming your emotions is the beginning of liberation. It transforms the unconscious into consciousness. It gives clarity, it gives understanding, it gives power. The second step is compassion. Often, our first impulse is judgment. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't be so weak. I shouldn't be so angry. But here's the truth, your feelings are not mistakes. They are not weaknesses. They are messages. They are guides. And when you respond with compassion to your own inner world, you create a safe space for healing. You create an environment where your feelings can exist, where you can listen to them without fear. The third step is expression. Emotions need an outlet. Journaling, talking to a trusted friend, art, movement, meditation, any form that allows your emotions to flow rather than stagnate. Stagnant emotions fester, expressed emotions heal. And healing is the doorway to peace. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He knew that our emotions are not enemies. They are teachers, guides, and signposts on the path to wholeness. When we suppress them, we fragment ourselves. And a fragmented self cannot experience peace. Only through integration, acknowledgement, understanding, and expression, can we reconnect with ourselves. Only then can we move through life with clarity, calm, and purpose. Imagine a life where suppression no longer rules you. Where you can feel fully, honestly, and choose consciously how to act. Imagine the relief of releasing unspoken anger, hidden sadness, and unacknowledged longing. Imagine the clarity, freedom, and joy that come from turning your shadow into your guide instead of your tyrant. That is the gift waiting for each of us. And let's be real. This is not a one-time thing. Integration is a practice, a lifelong journey. There will be days when you feel the old habit of suppression creeping in. You'll catch yourself smiling when you want to cry, nodding politely when you want to speak, staying quiet when you long to express. And in those moments, pause. Recognize it. Name it. Be gentle with yourself. That is how you practice integration. That is how you claim your inner peace. Reflection is powerful. Next time you feel anger, sadness, fear, or longing rising within you, don't push it down. Don't dismiss it. Don't tell yourself you shouldn't feel. Instead, pause and ask, what are you here to teach me? Your shadow is not a threat, it is your teacher. Every suppressed emotion carries a message, a key to understanding yourself more deeply. Imagine living in alignment with that truth. A life where your feelings are acknowledged, where your heart is honest, where your shadow is integrated. You will discover a freedom you never knew existed. You will feel more present. More alive. More connected, to yourself, to others, and to life itself. So I want to leave you with this thought. Suppressing your feelings does not protect you, it imprisons you. Embracing them does not weaken you, it frees you. Honoring your emotions does not control you, it empowers you. And the courage to face your shadow, to turn your unconscious into consciousness, is the path to a life of real inner peace, clarity, and fulfillment. And remember, this journey is yours alone. The privilege of a lifetime, as Jung said, is to become who you truly are. When you honor your feelings, when you integrate your shadow, when you allow yourself to be fully human, you step into that truth. You reclaim your power. You reclaim your peace. You reclaim your life. The choice is yours. Will you continue to hide, suppress, and deny? Or will you stand in your truth, embrace your emotions, and walk fully into your own wholeness? The answer will define the rest of your life. And I promise you this. When you choose to embrace yourself, every part of yourself, you will discover a depth of peace and freedom that no outside circumstance, no other person, no worldly measure can ever take from you. That, my friends, is the gift waiting for you, the gift of living fully, authentically, and powerfully.